Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at an invisible Pokemon for the Open Great League. The Annihilape got the acid removed all of a sudden at 3 AM my time, so like those battles were also a little bit late. And I had to kind of throw together a team here which actually worked out insanely well. But if you don't have a Cresselia, there are different options as well, which you're gonna talk about as well during this video. But yeah, you're gonna see it here on the right side. It completely bugged the game and it's going to even bug the game further. Because now look at the right side as well. We have our Poliwrath in. And what you see on the right side is I can swap out into Poliwrath. And it's so funny to be fair because they're going to be even a little bit more of bugs coming up with this Pokemon as well, which is just going to be so hilarious. You're going to have here the say-sub, of course, of our Poliwrath in the lead, the Cresselia, which is most likely the best option for this kind of team. You can also go for Lickitung. I think Holmes Henry played a similar team as well with Lickitung. But yeah, there are also the option for theoretically at least Lanturn if you want to try this one out, which would also work out. But I really want to make a video about it, about the double Nuke Annihilape. And double Nuke Annihilape has a lot of play in the current meta, and you're going to see it here as well during this video. And already here you're going to see a Registeel, but they sadly decide already to forfeit. What I have to say though, I had insane luck with the Cresselia. We are running Moonblast still, not the Move Future side. The amount of Moonblast debuffs I got was completely ridiculous. Like here we're gonna get one, but that's not all. We can go for another Moonblast here, and if we get one, why not get another one here? As we're gonna get a back-to-back Moonblast debuffs, a 1% chance, and I have to say this was not the only Moonblast debuffs that I got during those battles, which was just absolutely wild. They might not all be in there because I actually cut off some battles, also a lot of wins actually that I had to cut off because I did a few too much. But as you're gonna see here, I swap out immediately. They're gonna go into their Medicham, which is a little bit annoying, but they decide to swap out into the Lanturn, and with this game is already over because we can later go into our Annihilape. I think we actually didn't see that. Oh no, we saw it like at the end in the first battle, but we haven't really seen it in the battle. But yeah, the opponent should have actually not seen the Annihilape as well, as far as I know. But look at this, like the camera angle is completely broken. Like literally, like what is this? Like they don't really know what they're doing here. I barely see the HP of the opponent. I barely see the Pokemon of the opponent. But we have double Nuke, and so we can go for the Shadow Ball now against the Medicham. No Pokemon to be seen, but still a big boom to win this game. Next opponent, a lot of Charm users here. This is like the issue, by the way, which I also kind of didn't want to go for Lickitung. If you're going to encounter one Wigglytuff, the game is basically over. With Cresselia, it's way easier. Also, if you run something like a Lanturn, would be way easier. But yeah, we kind of want to stay in here. We kind of forced to use a shield here as well, even though it's not going to be the greatest matchup for us in general. We're going to have to do this because otherwise we're going to struggle a little bit with two Fighting-type Pokemon against Charmer in the back. The issue is as well for this team, actually, a Pokemon that I would recommend you to go for the lead as well would be a Lowland Sandslash, because it would allow you to still beat something like a Gligar pretty easily. Would go for the Powder Snow variant, by the way. But here we're gonna swap out, we're gonna get out the Victory Bell, and this is amazing for us because it's very likely that they're going to have a Bastion now in the back. We can go for the Icy and get the knockout against the Victory Bell already with our Poliwrath. They can go back into their Wigglytuff. I can go into my invisible Pokemon here, Annihilape, as they can use a shield against the opponent. We barely can see the shield on the screen as well. Icy is coming through, and I don't even see a debuff there. I think it was like somewhere completely different as well because everything is bugged. But yeah, they're going to have the Bastion in the back. They most likely think, oh yeah, Shadow Ball, we can still survive it. Maybe there's some play after the debuff, but not with the close combat. Goodbye there. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have a Dragonite in the lead. This is going to be okay for us. Again, like the Pikachu there on the right side, completely bugged, is like so hilarious to me. But yeah, we can still go for one Moonblast here. This is going to be able to get the shield from the opponent. We can play this out basically. You win this in the 0 shields, 1 shields, and like 1 to 2 shields as well. They only win this in the 2 to 2 shields. So they're basically going to be forced to use 2 shields against me, which is kind of nice. So we're going to be able to still go for another Moonblast here. This will be able to either get the knockout or get the final shield, very likely the final shield though. And I decided to go into my Poliwrath, and I decided to go for a little bit of weird play, which maybe was not really the smartest idea. I decided to let this move go through. Maybe you should not run the Shadow variant of the Poliwrath as well, which would help you out, but honestly it's so sad that they got to this move here with 1 HP. If they didn't get to this move with 1 HP, I feel like that's such a better chance of winning this game. We see the Whiscash coming in here, we can go for the Shadow Ball against the opponent, which is going to do some decent damage, but they're still going to be able to reach a Scald against me. But yeah, we're gonna see here that they're gonna be able to reach this. They're gonna get, I don't know if they got the debuff, I have no idea. Maybe they, because we didn't see it prior, if they actually got the debuff or not, for a move that always debuffs. So you're going to be able to still swap out here. We're gonna see what they have in the back. It's going to be the Vigoroth. We can go for the close combat. Double Nuke comes in clutch, but can we farm down the Dragonite? We cannot. Literally based on 1 HP, and like also that they get just barely to that Dragon Claw was so important for them. Really sad for us, but still we played this pretty well, I would say. Otherwise they can move on now to the next game. We're gonna get out the opponent's Lanturn here, which is totally fine for me. We're gonna get them insanely low already. And honestly, if they go for Surf here, that would be kind of interesting. Maybe they do. No, they're going to go for the Thunderbolt. Surf most likely would still be able to survive and get to another move. But here we're going to get out Cresselia again. Kind of want to overfarm by quite a bit here because there's no real rush. And you see already, I can still swap into my other Cresselia on the right side. It looks so funny. Like, honestly, it just completely bugged, as you're going to see here now. You can swap into the Cresselia, which is actually no Cresselia, but the Annihilape. They have the Diggersby coming in now. And I'm going to use a shield here. And they might think, maybe I'm going to let the move go through. It's just the Ice Punch, most likely. It's not going to do that much damage. I still can survive this one. Or can you? Can you really? I don't think so, because this is a close combat. And so I can knock you out here. In comes the Bombers. Now I can use a shield. And I'm just going to go for more close combats afterwards. And I just try to get the final shields from the opponent. That's basically my only goal here. I hope that I can get to another close combat afterwards to get the final shield from the opponent. Because as you're gonna see here now, the opponent is going to be insanely low enough for the Grass Knot of the Cresselia, and so we're going to be in a great spot because they still have to go for a charge move here, and this is going to knock me out. And I don't even think a an Energy Ball would knock me out here. They are definitely not. Like, I'm so safe, I can still go for the Grass Knot. This will knock them out, and so we can win this game. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have a Dragonair in the lead. A lot of Dragon-type Pokemon recently in the lead here. Dragonair is a little bit easier to deal with for this team than the Dragonite because they don't have the flying typing, and of course with 2 counter users in the back, it is a little bit easier to deal with a Pokemon where counter is neutral. We're going to be able to get off the first shield from the opponent, and it's kind of similar in the scenario here for the Cresselia. The opponent's Dragonair does not do as much damage as the Dragonite, which is kind of nice because, yeah, Body Slam is not stab, Dragon Claw basically, even though I think they basically barely do the same amount. Maybe they actually do around the same amount. But at the end of the day, yeah, we're gonna just swap out of here. We're gonna get out the Lanturn, which I'm totally okay with. I don't mind. I can go for the Surf here, and I Surf the Scald here. Try to get the debuff, try to get some damage onto them. And we are gonna get the debuff. And this might be actually pretty impactful, as you're going to see now, because they're gonna go for the Surf. Huge mistake, doing not enough damage to now knock me out. And I can actually go for the Ice, and I was like, yeah, okay, we're gonna get them like to like 1 or 2 HP or something like this. We can actually knock them out in real line with only resisted moves against a Lanturn, which is kind of wild. In comes again the Dragonair. I have to use a shield with my invisible Annihilape, but the Awkward Tail is going to get shielded, and we see there's Skarmory coming in. Can I outspeed the opponent? It's going to be close. I have 2 close combats stored now. I think it was a CMP tie. I think we are just barely not going to be able to do it. But no, we are actually going to be able to reach another close combat, and the invisible Annihilape is going to annihilate the opponent as he can swap out and win the game with a fast move down from the Cresselia. Next opponent, Cresselia. We can swap out basically immediately because you're going to have 2 counter users in the back, and we're going to get out the Azumarill, which I'm totally okay with, so I can at least avoid this with my Annihilape later on, as this Pokemon is going to not really appreciate it too much either, but here I can just get some damage onto them. Sadly no debuff from the Scald, which is totally okay, to be fair. The player-off is going to get the knockout, but we see some lag here as well, I feel like. I don't know if it's my editing software, I think it was my editing software. But you're going to see here the Grass Knot coming through. I have to say there was a lot of lag for me as well, like a lot of like stuttering, like especially with Moonblast animation. I feel like it was not for any other animation, but for the Moonblast animation, basically half of the time where I used it, I was not able to press all the bubbles because it was just like freezing mid-air. So I don't know what's like happening with the fairy type animation, but it is what it is. But sadly here we're gonna get completely hardwalled. My only play is to go straight for the Shadow Ball. I hope that they let this move go through, but they have 2 shields, so there's no reason for them to do so, and sadly you're going to exit this game. Next opponent, Cresselia against Cresselia. You know me already. There is no video where I don't get a Moonblast debuff, right? I mean, we already got 2 on the opponents. Here you see, for example, I only get to the Great. You saw like the little stutter there in the middle of it, where you're not going to be able to get the final like 3 or 4 bubbles, which is really impactful, especially in the mirror, because like it really depends on the damage that you're gonna like dish out against the opponent. But I'm gonna be able to go for another Moonblast here at least. But you see already that I took a little bit more damage than the opponent, because the opponent most likely was able to get like throw the bubbles, but I wasn't. And we're gonna get the attack drop here. yeah, of course there's no video for me where I don't get the attack drop from a Moonblast as well. So we're gonna be able to now use a shield against the opponent's Grass Knot, which is going to be fine. I can still go for the Icy Wind against the opponent, get some extra energy. And if they want to use a shield, I'm okay with this, because I have the energy advantage now, and I will be able to just farm them down with any Pokemon that I have left. So basically the Cresselia is just sitting like a sitting duck here, just giving us some extra energy. In comes the Registeel. I was hoping that I would be able to swap out before the Registeel can go for a Zap Cannon, but we can at least go for the Scald, getting a Tech Drop, which is kind of cool. And here I thought actually of going into my Cresselia first and get some extra energy, but I decided to go straight into the Annihilape. As we're gonna see what they're going to have in the back, or we don't gonna see it, it's going to be an Umbreon. And with the Umbreon, you know already, we can go for the close combat, and the opponent will not be, they don't know, like literally no of them know. Like everybody is just letting those moves go through, because everybody expects the standard moveset of Ice Punch and Shadow Ball, which is just so funny to me. In comes the Cresselia, having to take the Grass Knot now from us, and we can just go for the counter down with the Annihilape at this point, because what is the opponent going to do? They have to hit me with like 2 charge moves here, and I don't think they're gonna get there, especially after they went for one before. We're going to see the foul play coming through. We can go for the full farm down and win this game. Another Wigglytuff here in the lead. This is going to be a little bit of a tougher matchup again for us, but we kind of want to play it out maybe in a similar manner as we saw before already, where we were able to get out the opponent's, the opponent's Victory Bell there. But no, the opponent actually swaps out here into the Sableye, so hopefully they don't have a Victory Bell on the back, but maybe something like Steel type or whatever. That would be kind of nice, but we're gonna figure that out very soon here. I can go for the Icy Wind, most likely force a shield from the opponent. Let's see. We do force a shield, which is kind of amazing. So we can even go for another Icy Wind here, and if this is a foul play, I'm going to let this move go through. Let's see what they're going to go for. They're going to go for the foul play. That's going to be nice, because we can still survive this. We can go for our own Icy Wind, which the opponent is going to have to shield up again, and now we have a shield advantage, but the opponent has quite a lot of energy. So I'm going to go back into my Cresselia. I will take those moves. Of course, they're going to be super effective, while on the Annihilape they would be neutral. But I can go for the Grass Knot now, and the Grass Knot is going to get the knockout against the Sableye. And now we still have a shield advantage with our definitely Ghost type here in the back, which is going to be the Annihilape. We're gonna see the Wigglytuff going for a charge move, and they're gonna go for the Icy Wind again. And again, we most likely not gonna see the debuff coming in here, even though they're definitely gonna come in exactly there. We're gonna be able to still go for the close combat, knock them out, but can we reach another close combat in time against the Shadow Bastion from the opponent? Oh yeah, we can, and this is gonna easily get the knockout against the opponent, even with the debuff, and we can move on into the next game. Second to last game for today. Here's something that I would recommend you for this team. I would recommend you against like Bastion lead to stay in and get up to 100 energy basically. You don't have to be like exactly at 100, but like kind of close to it, because the likelihood of them having something like a Victory Bell in the back is pretty high. But there's still a very high likelihood as well that the opponent is going to have something like the other Fairy type basically in the back, what's called the Wigglytuff, and then you have basically no shot of winning the game, which is like something that you have to accept. Like, there are going to be teams that are going to completely hardwall them, like the classic Grass Hole line that's currently around is going to be able to beat this team pretty easily, and I feel like there's next to nothing that you can really do about it. So definitely going to be a little bit of a scarier one. You're gonna try to build up a little bit more energy again. Now I have 2 Grass Knots stored, and I can swap out into my Annihilape and hopefully annihilate some opponent's Pokemon here. And it's going to be actually the Lickitung coming in, and this is going to be nice because I'm going to be able to go up to 2 close combats and force basically the knockout against the opponent most likely. As they're gonna go for the Body Slam, I can reach for the first close combat here, and they cannot do anything about it. They're going to let this move go through, thinking it's an Ice Punch. It was not an Ice Punch, and now I just have to get to 2 more close combats with our Annihilape, and honestly, this close combat moveset was just so insane. Final game for today, we're going to have a Vigoroth in lead, and the opponent plays this really, really well, which I can kind of highlight here as well. Maybe I should play it a little bit differently. I should have not used the shield here. In hindsight, I definitely should have not used the shield. I was kind of questioning myself there as well, and they're going to have the Azumarill in the back, which is going to be a very, very bad matchup for us. We're going to be able to still go for a Scald and get the attack drop, which is cool, but does not really change anything in terms of any matchup, because yeah, cool, they're gonna still knock me out here with a Play Rough. They're still going to be kind of hard-walled by the Cresselia. But yeah, we're going to be now 1 shield down. What is kind of at least positive for us is that they're going to have, of course, the Vigoroth, which is going to not have the greatest time against our own Annihilape. And also, we were able to get another shield here, which is something that I did not really expect to get, which is really, really good for me. They swap into the Vigoroth, and now it's Annihilape time. Literally going to be able to farm them all the way down here. I still should be able to reach another charge move against the opponent's Azumarill, hopefully. but we will find this out shortly as well. You're going to be able to go for the Shadow Ball. Hopefully they're going to let this move go through. Let's see what they're going to do. They're actually going to shield this move up, and with this, I think they might be weak to me in the back. And can we actually get a sweep with a completely invisible Annihilape here? We're going to see that as well. They're going to be able to go for a Shadow Ball here against the opponent. What do they have in the back? What are they hiding? They're going to have in the back, it's going to be a Gligar actually. If they knew that I did not have the Ice Punch, they most likely would have went to the Gligar immediately, but they didn't. And with this, we're going to have a great time here because we're going to get the attack drop again against the opponent. But even better, we're going to be able to reach another Moonblast. And if we had a 1 back-to-back Moonblast debuff, why not go for 2 here? And so we're going to be able to win this final game. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.